It's always good to have that one ingredient in your pantry that you can just use for everything year round and something that lasts forever. So I can't wait to tell you about Sakhar Jams. So joining us to talk about that today is Jess and Ray, who own the company, and they're based right here in Columbia. Thanks so much for being with us.
No, thanks for having us here.
We're happy to be here today with you.
Wonderful. So tell us how this company got started.
Really, it started from, well, back in 2020. Do you want to tell your part of it? My part? We kind of have our own little stories.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like both of us coming together at a crossroad in our life and coming together to form something that would give us some financial stability, some joy. Yeah. It was the pandemic and I had quit my job and I was just looking for something to do. But I was also deeply depressed, honestly. Then that was the case. I didn't really know, didn't have much direction in my life. I'd failed at a couple of things and I didn't know what to do next. I started therapy because I know I needed some help. And my therapist said to me, Raish, you need a coping mechanism. And I was like, so you need to stop drinking and get a coping mechanism. And I said, I don't know about that. You know, all my liquor is so expensive. She said, dump that out. So I actually had a book on jam making and I love fruits because I have a deep history with fruits. Growing up in Mumbai, stealing fruits from neighbors' yards, eating them, snacking on them. So I was like, oh, this might be a cool thing to do. South Carolina has so much fruit. So I started turning it into jam. I loved it so much. And I saw the bottle of Prosecco in my pantry. And I poured it in and voila, that was strawberry Prosecco. And I started posting it on Instagram. People loved it so much. So like, give me a jar. So I started giving it away for free. And at the same time, Jess, you can go.
Yeah, at the time that she's going through this, I was separating and was going from being a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 small kids, so suddenly I'm a single parent. I had been living in Charleston for a little while, and I moved back to my same house in Columbia. We actually live on the same street.
We do.
So it's back in Columbia, and it's the middle of the pandemic. I have 3 kids, and I'm like, okay, I got to get back into the workforce. What am I going to do? And Raish came and she said, hey, you know, people really like this jam. And I'd grown up making jam. Like my aunt, my grandma, like preserving was something I'd grown up doing. So I said, oh yeah, I know how to do this. I've been doing it my whole life. So it worked out really well.
It did, yeah.
And something that is so important to you guys is making sure that your ingredients are local. So tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, we are actually huge on sustainability, and one of the ways that we can stay sustainable is through low carbon emissions. So we procure all our fruit through local South Carolina farmers. We actually go out there and create authentic relationships because South Carolina land is so vast and so rich. There is a fruit growing every
all year long there's something new that's available.
Yeah, like did you know oranges and ripe limes and persimmons, these are all winter citrus fruits that all grow in South Carolina. So we have something always coming up.
I did not know.
Yeah, and we actually, so besides that, we can't always, as we're scaling up, we can't always go and meet the farmers. Most of the times we pick it ourselves. We go into, we started in Columbia going into backyards and picking. We did it this year too with figs. Grow Food Carolina, which is one of the biggest food hubs in the South. It's a non-for-profit that procures local produce from all South Carolina farmers. We are on their list. They come and deliver to us. They come and deliver to City Grit. We order from them weekly, whatever we want. So it's at the tip of our fingertips. How do I say that?
We're really lucky to be in South Carolina where there is such a bounty of fruit available, and then to have the means to be able to get somebody to bring it to us, or we go out to the farms ourselves. So that's really special.
Even the honey is local that we use. West Columbia honey, we have so many people that we know that grow honey here. The lavender is also local, so we call that a hyper-local approach. Even the bourbon that's in our brown sugar peach bourbon is from Hollow Creek Distillery out in Leeville, South Carolina. We like collaborating with other businesses.
Yes, and you have done quite a few collaborations with local businesses, and they'll use your jams in their store, or you can even find a jar just like this in some local stores as well. So tell us a little bit about those collaborations.
Go for it.
Well, I'd say let's start with City Grit, which is actually where we make our jam.
Yeah.
That's right here on Gervais Street. Our jams are available there. We make them there. They use our jam in some of their
pastries. It's small sugar pastries, il focolares, olive oil. I can tell you everything. We have collaborated with Silver Spoon Bake Shop. That's on Divine. We've put our jam and macarons. They're exceptional macarons. Il Giorgione with our jams and their porchetta sandwich, I believe, if I'm saying that right. Is that right?
Yeah.
The fig jam goes in there.
Yum.
And their panna cotta, which has our jam on top. Yeah.
So good. One of the best panna cottas I've ever had.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you guys do have some popular flavors. I want to talk about just the uniqueness of these too. So drunken blueberry.
Yes.
What is this?
Whew, the blueberries are drunk with. It's part of our drunken line. We have several of that.
Okay.
I mean, drunken blueberry, drunken cherry, but that's
Drunken fig.
Drunken fig. There's another one that I feel like I'm missing, but doesn't matter. The drunken blueberry has
Bourbon, candied ginger, and then that's all like goes together and it makes a nice zing to the blueberries. That's a really special one.
That looks really good. And then here we've got strawberry prosecco, which you had talked a little bit about. Sounds so good as well.
Thank you.
And then brown sugar peach bourbon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And in just a little bit, we're going to put these together in a recipe. But I also did want to talk about some of the other flavors that you have. There are some interesting combinations. So what are some of your favorites?
Let's see, what have we've got a blueberry honey lavender. That's for if you like something a little bit more artisanal.
We have a strawberry masala chai, and I will tell you that so we do a lot of Indian inspired flavors too, and obviously like embodiment of India. The strawberry masala chai is actually super unique. It's collaborated with the Spice Tava, which is another a local business right here in Colombia. She does Indian spice blends, and she has collaborated with multiple restaurants here in Colombia, and she made us a special chai blend to go in our strawberries, and I will tell you, you'll never find something like that ever.
And I
even
love
if you look
chai.
for it.
I've got to try it.
It's so good. I promise I will get you a chai.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, I would
so
love
good.
that.
It's like tangy, complex. We have a peach masala chai as well. But you know, Jess loves her original peach. She likes her original.
It's true.
You know, she's and there's something to be said about simplicity as well. So we have our simple jams. You know,
Our blueberry lemon is
exceptional.
so good.
Yeah.
It's more simple, but it's amazing.
We have a rosemary balsamic fig where it's so good. And that balsamic flavor is exceptional. It comes really into that fig. The drunken fig is good too. In-house made vanilla paste and bourbon. We love bourbon. We have a raspberry 75, which is a twist on the French 75.
Yeah.
So it's gin and prosecco with South Carolina raspberries.
Awesome.
I'm whispering it because I'm like, oh my God.
They're hard to find.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
really?
It's like, I don't want people to take it.
And so you guys do all of this yourselves, which
Yes.
is so admirable. You jar everything, make everything first of all, and then put the labels on all of the bottles. And I do want to point out what beautiful labeling this is, but I want people to know what Sakhar means.
Yeah. So we were racking our heads over what to name the business, and Sakhar means sugar in Marathi, which is my native tongue. India has so many different languages, and it just fit. It really just fit because it is sugar. So and we're sweet, and we like to spread kindness
And sweetness through our jam.
through our jams. It's one of our mottos, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it was a good way to tie in, Raish's life with what we're doing here.
Yeah.
It really means a lot, as an immigrant. It meant a lot to her dad that we were.
Yeah, he cried.
So, it's special.
And also, when you go into a shelf and you have so many CPG products to choose from, especially we're in jam country, we thought, how are we going to stand out? How are we going to stand out? Because we're not a farm. Usually when you find jam, it's a farm that's making from their fruit of the land. And we wanted to do something different.
Coming up, we're putting the delicious jams to the test